They let him walk right into it. Braun Breaker, the guy. The leader of the Vision. The man Paul Heyman built his entire empire around. Walked right down that ramp in Riyadh, in front of thousands of people, in front of the entire WWE Universe watching at home, and before he even touched that ring, someone came out of nowhere and destroyed him. A curb stomp. On the floor. Cold. Calculated. Brutal. Then they rolled him into the ring and Obafemi tossed him over the top rope in seconds. Braun Breaker, a man who was supposed to be one of the biggest forces in that Royal Rumble match, was gone. Done. Finished. Before his Royal Rumble even started. And here is the part that is making everyone lose their minds right now. Paul Heyman was right there. He saw the whole thing. He watched his guy get dismantled and he stood there screaming. And do you know what he was screaming? He was screaming that Seth Rollins was behind it. The man he trusted. The man he built his faction around. The man who was supposed to be recovering from surgery thousands of miles away at home, supposedly, solo dating. And then, after the show, Triple H went on camera. And when they asked him about the masked man, he did not deny anything. He did not protect anyone. Instead he looked right into that camera and said, "And I need you to hear this, I don't want to make any accusations, but that was a pretty clean curb stomp." And when they pressed him and said it looked like someone who had done it before, Triple H said, "Yeah. At least one. At least one." Triple H just handed everyone the answer on a silver platter. And the entire WWE Universe is furious. Because if this is Seth Rollins, if this is really happening, then everything we thought we knew about the Vision, about WrestleMania 42, about the road ahead just got flipped on its head. And that is exactly what we are breaking down today. Stay right here, because by the end of this video you are going to understand not just WHO did this, but why. And trust me, the why is what nobody is talking about. Real quick, before we get into this, if you are not already subscribed to Ring Rumble 1, you need to do it right now. Hit that subscribe button. This is the channel that breaks down the moments that actually matter in WWE, the storylines, the chess moves, the stuff every other channel is sleeping on. And if you want to be the first one to know when these reveals and breakdowns drop, you need to hit that notification bell and turn on all notifications. Every single one. Because this Royal Rumble fallout is just getting started, and trust me, you do not want to be the last person finding out what happens next. Subscribe. Bell. All notifications. Let's go. What actually happened in Riyadh? Saturday night. January 31st. The first Royal Rumble ever held outside of North America, live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This was supposed to be a historic night. And it was. But not in the way anyone saw coming. Obafemi came out as entrant number 1. The former NXT World Champion stepped into that ring looking locked in, looking ready to make a statement on the biggest stage of his life. Then the clock started counting down for number 2. And everyone already knew who that was going to be, Braun Breaker. The leader of the Vision. Paul Heyman's guy. A man who had been built up over the past year as one of the most unstoppable forces on the entire WWE roster. Breaker started making his way down that ramp. And that is when everything went sideways. A masked figure, black hoodie, face completely covered, came ripping out of the shadows and jumped Breaker from behind. This was not a cheap shot. This was a statement. The masked man threw Breaker into the steel steps, kicked him, and then hit him with a curb stomp. Right there on the floor, right in front of everyone. Then he rolled the completely destroyed Breaker into the ring, and Obafemi did the rest. That is Seth Rollins' signature finishing move. That is not a move you just pull out of thin air in the middle of a Royal Rumble attack. You use your move. The move that everyone watching immediately recognizes. And that is exactly what happened. Clue number 2, the gear. The masked man was wearing the same black hooded outfit that was previously used by Austin Theory when he was operating as a secret operative inside the Vision. Same look, same hoodie, same gear. But here is where it gets interesting. Austin Theory was already in the Royal Rumble match. He entered later as a numbered entrant. He wrestled. He was visible on camera the entire time. So if Theory was in the match, then who the hell was the person attacking Breaker before the match even started? It was not Theory. That much we now know for certain. Clue number 3, and this one is massive. Seth Rollins spent the weeks leading up to the Royal Rumble making a very public show of the fact that he was not going to be in Saudi Arabia. He went on the Sal Licata show and told everyone he would be home taking care of his daughter. He talked about dance classes, gymnastics classes, solo dating. He made it a whole thing. He went out of his way to make sure the entire world knew he was nowhere near that event. Think about that for a second. Why would someone who genuinely was just staying home go on multiple interviews to make absolutely sure everyone knew he was not there? Seth Rollins has a history of pulling fake injury angles in WWE. He faked a blown-out knee at Saturday night's main event the year before. WWE themselves bragged about how badly that fooled everyone. So when Rollins shows up on camera weeks before the Rumble saying he is not going, and then a masked man shows up at the Rumble using Rollins' finishing move, the dots connect whether he wants them to or not. And then clue number 4. Triple H, the head of WWE, the man behind the curtain, goes on the post-show and all but confirms it with his own mouth. That was a pretty clean curb stomp. At least one. He is practically spelling it out. The betrayal that started all of this. To understand why this matters so much, you have to understand what happened back in October 2025. Seth Rollins was the World Heavyweight Champion. He was the leader of the Vision. He was on top of the entire WWE Universe. And then during his match against Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, he suffered a legitimate shoulder injury. He needed surgery. He was stripped of his championship. And the moment Rollins was vulnerable, the moment he was down and out, the Vision turned on him. Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Paul Heyman, the faction that Rollins built, they stabbed him in the back. They took everything he created and they cut him out of it entirely. Rollins was left with nothing. No title, no faction, no support, just a shoulder in a sling and a surgery date. So think about that. Think about a man who built something from the ground up, who poured everything into it, and then got betrayed by the exact people he trusted the most. And now, months later, that same man may have shown up at the Royal Rumble, under a mask, and destroyed the leader of the group that threw him away. This is not just an attack. This is revenge. This is personal. This is the kind of cold, calculated payback that can fuel an entire feud all the way to WrestleMania. It is going to keep people glued to their screens every Monday night waiting for the reveal, waiting for the confrontation, waiting for Rollins to finally step out from the shadows and say what everyone already knows. And when that reveal happens, because it will happen, we are almost certainly looking at Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania 42. The man who built the Vision versus the man who took it from him. The architect versus the new big dog. Teacher versus student. That is a main event. That is a match that sells out stadiums. And WWE knows it. But there is one more layer to this that makes it even more complex. Some people believe Rollins was not necessarily the one under the mask himself. Some believe he may have sent someone else to do it, someone already inside the Vision, as a test. As a chess move. As proof that he still has power, that he is still pulling strings from the outside, even while everyone thinks he is gone. If that is true, then the real reveal might not just be about who attacked Breaker. It might be about how deep Rollins' reach actually goes inside that faction. And that changes everything. What happens next? Paul Heyman is going to be looking for answers. Braun Breaker is going to be looking for whoever did this. And Seth Rollins, whether he reveals himself tomorrow night on Raw or waits until WrestleMania, is going to be the most dangerous man in WWE. The Vision is fractured. The road to WrestleMania just got 10 times more unpredictable. And Ring Rumble 1 is going to be covering every single development as this unfolds. That is everything we know right now about the mystery man from the Royal Rumble and why this moment just completely changed the direction of WWE heading into WrestleMania 42. The revenge, the chess, the betrayal, it is all coming together, and we are only at the very beginning. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button hard. Drop a comment right now and tell me, do you think it was actually Seth Rollins under that mask, or do you think he sent someone else to do it? I want to know exactly what you think, because this debate is about to take over the internet. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know. They need to see this. Subscribe to Ring Rumble 1. Bell on, all notifications, and I will catch you in the next one.